I'm working on my roof. I'm going to put on heat cable on the back of my house because last year we had a lot of snow and ice, mostly ice, and down on that end down there, it pulled a lot of the gutter, broke the screws and pulled the gutter away from its brackets. These are what the brackets look like. These screws are galvanized, which I thought was great, but several of them just snapped off from the weight of the ice. So I'm going to put heat cable on here. I did some research, and hopefully I'm doing it right. I ordered 240 feet of it. My roof is 57 feet long. I'm spacing these brackets out every 15 inches. At the bottom, this is where the cable will hook. And then 15 inches at the top, and they're alternating. So the top ones are halfway in between the bottom ones. My plan is to go along here and put all the hooks in. It's going to take a little time. You got to have some kind of a pry tool so you can separate the tile from whatever it's stuck to. This is a fairly new roof, but still they're stuck. So I stick this underneath there and I pry it up just enough to slide the clip in. And hopefully they hold really good. They don't seem like they want to pop out. And I'm going to do that all the way down the roof, and I'm going to start on that end, and I'm going to weave my wire in the clips. And when I get down to this end, I should have offset it the other way at the top and bottom, because my cable is going to end up there on that clip right there. And then I'm going to have to bring it down into the gutter, and I'm going to run a straight shot in the gutter, hopefully all the way down. If I have enough of it, I have a gutter on the other side of this roof. Sorry, can't see very good. I have another gutter running on the other side of this to keep the rain from going over there when I'm going in and out to barbecue. I was hoping to run some down there, but I'm not sure I'll be able to. Otherwise, it's just going to run down through the gutter, underneath the brackets, up over this roof, and straight on down. And that may be all I have enough to do, but we'll find out. So anyway, right now I'm just putting the clips in. And when I get all the clips in, I'm going to roll out the cable. You want to roll it so you don't get kinks and twirls and stuff in it. Keep it as straight as possible. They actually unroll it versus just unwinding it, and I'll try to show you what I'm talking about when I get to that point. So a couple things to watch for when you're doing this is down at the bottom they have a starter strip, so you want to get above the starter strip, and then you just put whatever you're using in there and slide it back in far enough to break it loose. Slide your bracket in. What you don't want to do is slide this in there and then bend it up, because you could break your tiles off depending on how old they are and how cold it is. But mostly I just find out where it has to go and then force it in there, right where I'm going to put the clip. And another thing, you got to be careful if you're doing it like in this area, that you don't go under this shingle. You want to stay on this row up above it. Sometimes you got to go over here to a flat part where you can get your prying apparatus in there, because like right there you could easily go underneath the wrong shingle, and then, well, I don't know if it hurt anything, but you want to stay on the row of shingles you're working on anyway. Down here, I'm almost done. You can see I've got them all laid out. I have about 15 feet left, so another 10 minutes I'll have all that ran, then I'll start working on the cable. Now I'm working on a step ladder, and it's not the safest in the world, because in order to reach the higher ones I have to stand on the top. And it says right on there, not a step. But I don't want to put my extension ladder up against the gutter and take a chance on breaking it, because that's what a guy did a couple years ago came to give me an estimate. Leaned his ladder on there and then climbed up it and broke my gutter. I was not too happy. He didn't offer to replace it either. And he didn't get the job either. So anyway, just be careful. If you're careful, you can put your ladder on your gutter, I guess. I've seen some guys do this from up above, but I'm too old for that. One little slip and you're landing on your concrete down below. So anyway, let me continue this and then I'll start unrolling my cable. So we got the cable ran through the gutter, and what I did was I stood down here on this end and I had a little piece of pipe. See if I can find it wherever it went. Anyway, it kind of looks like that. And well, hang on, I'll see if I can find it. Oh, I found the piece of pipe. Now, the cable would not just roll off of here. It wanted to catch because of friction. So what I did is I started turning this, kind of tossing it in a circular motion, which unwound the cable. And while I did that, my son Kevin grabbed it and walked from down there. Then he went back, did the same thing. It took 2 or 3 runs, but we got all the cable out on the ground. You just don't want to put it on something and let it unroll, because it'll put the cable in a bind and you'll get kinks, and you don't want that. So then after we got the gutter ran, I went up on top and I took the end that plugs in and I ran it over the end where I wanted it. And then we're just in the process now of weaving the cable back and forth through the hooks. Now I can see my hooks are not perfect, even though I was going 15 inches. Some of them seem like they're off. I suppose if you get off on one, you're going to be off on the rest of them. But at least it'll keep the ice jam down. So we're just going to slowly move down the roof here, weaving it in and out, as you can see. And you want some tension on it, but you don't want too much tension on it. You don't want it to pull out of the clips or put the cable in a bind and break. So we'll just keep doing that. And if I have enough extra cable, because I have it ran through the gutter, so one end is down there. Where am I at? Sorry. One end is down there. It runs all the way back down to that end. And now we're going to weave this, and whatever slack I have left, if I have enough of it, I've got this gutter right here. I'm going to try to make a run. I'll pull some extra through there and run down here and back up if I have enough slack. And they give you the clips so you can connect 2 cables close together without them touching. They look like that. And if I need those, and what else? If there's any place that looks like 2 cables are going to touch, I'm going to put a clip on it just to make sure they don't. And that would probably be on the end there, while the gutter's going in, the other one's going up, or down on that end. Just want to make sure stays where it's supposed to. It's really not that bad of a job on a 1-story building. I would definitely hire a professional if it was 2 stories, or if I wasn't used to going up and down a ladder, because one little slip and fall off the ladder, you're gonna wish you had paid somebody to do it. So we'll carry on here and see how we do. Well, we got the heat tape all installed, and according to the calculations, 240 feet was supposed to be enough to make your winds up and down, your loops, and come down the gutter. But you can't see it, but I had to pull back cable so we could finish the loops, and I'm about 10 or 12 foot short on the cable going through the gutter. Thought I might as well get up here and show you. Now, there's some extra cable here, but this is like an extension cord, and this is like the heat cable. So I figured I want to start on the roof where this connection is. Otherwise, I would have got a little bit more out of it. if you look down the gutter there, we're probably 10 or 12 feet short. I think you can buy short lengths of this, so I may buy a 12-foot length and figure out how to get a duplex down here and just run a short length down the gutter from this end, because I really don't want that much gutter without the heat tape in it. But it turned out pretty good. Time will tell how these clips hold up and how the cable works. Now, something I didn't do, you might want to do, is you get your cable all strung out, make sure it's not touching or overlapping, and then plug it in and let it heat up for about 5 minutes. Ooh, mine is heating up nicely. So that means it's going to work. I'll show you something else that I bought. Well, I bought this thermostat outlet, so when it gets like 45 degrees it'll turn on, and in the 50s it'll shut off. That way it's not just running all the time. But I see the way it's built, it's not going to work on my outlet here unless I take the cover off, which I could do. So I'm just going to put the thermostat at the other end where it's plugged in up there, and that should be fine. And it's tucked underneath the eave, so it's out of the weather. I'm happy with it. It's a couple-hour job. The front of my house and around the front porch already has this, and I was thinking about redoing it and going up and down the valleys, because it hasn't been done. It just runs around the roof and the gutter, but it keeps the ice off. But you're supposed to run this up and down your valleys too, to keep ice from building up and leaking into your house. But it turned out it looks pretty good. We probably could have tightened up the notches just a little bit, but I don't want a lot of pressure on them. And if they're too tight, they'll be wanting to pull the clamps, the brackets off the shingles. That won't do any good. So maybe next year, after winter's over, I'll do a follow-up on this and see how it lasted, how it held up through the snow and ice. But I don't have any pictures of it now, but last year the ice built up really bad, and it just snapped a whole bunch of the screws and pulled the gutter part way down. It stayed up where it belongs, but it just came loose, and it just looked like, I thought I was going to have to replace it, but it was just a bunch of broken screws. Even the plastic clips were fine, so I just replaced all the screws, and it's not perfect. You can see there's a few little squigglies in it, but it sheds the water from away from the house, and I'm happy with it. Sorry about that. Got some saliva down the wrong way. You would think my dog would want to be out here, at least where we're at, but she doesn't like things out of the, if something's unusual, out of place, she doesn't like it. If I was to park a car over there, she would see it, she'd be barking at it, going crazy. Think, what's going on? So she didn't like it. We were out here working on the roof, so she just stayed in the house. Now she finally came back out here when we're all done, but she's not a dog that likes change. She wants everything the same. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this helps you out. It's really not that bad of a project. It's just time consuming. And I didn't want to get up there and walk around on my roof and take a chance of slipping and falling off. So I just worked my way up and down with the ladder. I think it's a heck of a lot safer, and it's easier on the roof. We did have to walk up there a little bit to pull the cable, but it was minimal. And now, time will tell. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like and share. Appreciate it. Have a great one. Sorry, I'm not even paying attention where my camera's focusing.